Porsche, one of the most recognizable automakers in the world, has a long history of elegance, innovation, and exceptional performance. The brand Porsche is instantly recognized as the maker of slick, quick premium vehicles that are always pushing the boundaries of performance. But not so many know the history of the company and how closely knitted it is with another brand name, Volkswagen. This is the story of how the Porsche car manufacturing company was started by a poor plumber's son. There is no telling the story of the Porsche car manufacturing company without the mention of the founder, Ferdinand Porsche. Who was Ferdinand Porsche? German-Austrian automotive engineer Ferdinand Porsche founded the Porsche Automobile Company. He is most known for developing the Volkswagen Beetle, the Auto Union racing car, the Mercedes-Benz SS/SSK, among other significant vehicles and technology. He also invented the first gasoline-electric hybrid vehicle. The third of 5 children, Professor Dr. Ing. H.C. Ferdinand Porsche was born in Maffersdorf, now Vratislavis/Czech Republic, on September 3, 1875. His father, Anton Porsche, had a plumbing repair business. Ferdinand, Anton's son, was supposed to take over the family company, but he had other interests and was already conducting electrical experiments at the age of 14. His father, however, was not really pleased with this. On the contrary, he attempted unsuccessfully for a long period to stop his kid from engaging in such foolishness. Ferdinand, therefore, created his own private workshop in his parents' home so that he could experiment unrestrictedly. Ferdinand Porsche was intrigued with electricity. Ferdinand's knowledge of electricity grew to the point that, by 1893, his family's home was the first in Maffersdorf to have electric light. In 1893, he took a job at the electrical firm Bella Egger & Company in Vienna, later Braun Boveri, after finishing both his plumber apprenticeship and the state trade school in Reichenberg. His skill and technical understanding catapulted him from laborer to test center manager in a matter of years. His career was marked by groundbreaking designs. He created an electric wheel hub motor in 1897. In the same year, Ferdinand Porsche began work in the newly founded electric car department at K.U.K. Hofwagenfabrik Jacob Lohner & Company, Vienna. Ferdinand Porsche also won races while testing his ideas. In 1900, for example, he won on the Semmering circuit in Vienna. As a K.U.K. reserve foot soldier, he drove Archduke Franz Ferdinand in 1902. He was driving one of his own creations. Ferdinand Porsche left Lohner after 8 years to become technical manager at Austro-Daimler in Wiener Neustadt in 1906. In 1917, he was appointed general manager. Ferdinand won the Prinz Heinrich race in 1910, driving an Austro-Daimler automobile he developed himself. It was a long-distance test for touring automobiles on roads that changed every year. It was 1,495 kilometers long that year, stretching from Berlin to Bad Homburg via Magdeburg, Braunschweig, Kassel, Würzburg, Nuremberg, Stuttgart, Strasbourg, and Trier. Ferdinand Porsche's unique, aerodynamic, tulip-shaped automobile attained peak speeds of up to 140 km per hour on the course. Ferdinand Porsche introduced the Sascha, a compact 4-cylinder racing automobile with a displacement of 1.1 liters, in 1922. To further establish Porsche as one of the best designers to ever exist, the Sascha took first and second position in its category at the Targa Florio event in Sicily on its debut attempt the same year. Reacting to Ferdinand's accomplishment, Gazzetta dello Sport stated, "Up until very recently, no one would have imagined it conceivable to attain such maximum speeds and durability with a 4-cylinder engine belonging to the category of smallest automobiles ever." Ferdinand Porsche designed a variety of things while working as technical manager, including high-performance aviation engines, massive tractive machines, trolley buses, and hybrid petrol-electric drive systems for transportation. In 1923, Ferdinand Porsche became a technical manager and a member of the executive board of Daimler Motorengesellschaft in Stuttgart. He managed the Mercedes compressor car's improvement. In this vehicle, he won the Targa Florio race overall in 1924. Following this outstanding accomplishment, Ferdinand Porsche was awarded the honorary title of Dr. Ing. by the Stuttgart Institute of Technology, Technische Hochschule. Mercedes-Benz S, SS, and SSK became linked with sportiness and racing success because to his compressor designs. In 1929, Dr. Porsche resigned from the organization and accepted the job of technical manager at Austria's Stahlwerke AG. Ferdinand Porsche established his own private design firm 1.5 years later, which was registered in the Commercial Register on April 25, 1931 as Dr. Ing. H.C.F. Porsche GmbH, Construction und Beratung für Motoren und Fahrzeuge, Design, Engineering and Consultation for Engines and Vehicles. In 1932, Auto Union hired Porsche to construct a 16-cylinder compressor Grand Prix racing vehicle for the new 750 kg rules. The Auto Union P car, P for Porsche, won 32 of 64 races, and drivers like Hans Stuck and Bernd Rosemeyer created several world records while driving it. When Ferdinand Porsche was at Austro-Daimler and Daimler-Benz, he was already considering constructing a compact automobile. He wished to design a high-quality automobile fit for daily usage that was not simply a smaller version of well-known saloons. On June 22, 1934, a contract was signed between the Porsche Design Office and the Reichsverband der Automobilindustrie, the German automobile industry's umbrella organization, which subsequently became the Verband der Automobilindustrie, VDA. Volkswagen was born during that time. In 1938, the foundation stone for the Volkswagen factory was placed. Ferdinand Porsche was one of Volkswagen GmbH's general managers in the years that followed. The Second World War broke out just as production began. The Volkswagen was first used to build the all-terrain or amphibious automobile. Everything seemed to be going well for Ferdinand as in 1940, he was conferred the honorary title of professor. Porsche involved in the war. Porsche became deeply involved in Adolf Hitler's People's Car project, and during World War II, Hitler commissioned Porsche and his son to design a heavy tank for the Tiger program. Porsche presented a prototype with a cutting-edge driving system that was superior on paper but not in combat. Because of breakdowns and critical design problems, a competing manufacturer, Henschel & Sohn, was awarded the contract to manufacture the Panzer tanks. 90 to 100 Porsche Tiger chassis were built, with some being modified into tank destroyers, Panzerjäger, known as Ferdinand. The long-range weapon, equipped with a Krups turret and an 88mm anti-tank gun, could knock out enemy tanks before they reached their own effective firing range. When the war ended in 1945, Porsche was captured by French soldiers, due to his Nazi connection, and sentenced to 22 months in jail. While Ferdinand Porsche was imprisoned, his son Ferry directed the development of the Cis Italia, a Porsche company product. He sold it to a wealthy Italian industrialist and used the money to pay his father's bail. Upon release, Ferdinand Porsche saw the car his son had built and noted, "I would have built it exactly the same, right down to the last screw." The first official Porsche car, Porsche 365. Seeing that his son had held the company well in his absence, Ferdinand Porsche approved of another project Ferry had undertaken, a new sports car that would be the first to actually bear the name Porsche. The new automobile, dubbed the Porsche 356, No. 1, followed in the footsteps of previous Porsche-designed race cars such as the Cis Italia. The firm was then based in Gmund, Carinthia, after relocating from Stuttgart to avoid Allied bombardment. The Porsche 356 was first manufactured at an old sawmill in Gmund. They only constructed 49 automobiles, all of which were handcrafted. The first Porsche 356 was registered on the road on June 8, 1948. The 356 No. 1 was a mid-engine tubular steel frame roadster with an aerodynamic aluminum body designed by Dr. Porsche's son Ferry Porsche. Only 1 month later, at the Innsbruck Stadtrennen city race, the lightweight mid-engine roadster won its first race. Return to Stuttgart. In 1949, the Porsche family returned to Stuttgart, unsure of how to relaunch their firm. While banks would not lend them money since the company's factory was still under an American embargo and could not be used as collateral, they did have significant resources. So, Ferry Porsche borrowed one of Gmund's limited series 356 vehicles and went to Volkswagen dealers to raise some orders. He requested that the dealers pay for the ordered vehicles in advance. Instead of the aluminum body used in the first limited Gmund-produced series, the series production version built in Stuttgart featured a steel body attached to the central tube platform chassis. By the end of the year, 400 cars were produced, and more than 78,000 Porsche 356s were manufactured in the following 17 years. Porsche was then hired by Volkswagen for extra advisory work and was paid a royalty on each Volkswagen Beetle sold. With the income gotten from the Volkswagen Beetle royalties, more than 20 million Type Is were produced. Ferdinand Porsche's death. A couple of months later, Ferdinand Porsche suffered a stroke. He did not fully recover and died on January 30, 1951 at the age of 75. The Porsche legacy continues. All through the 1950s, Porsche created a variety of successful race vehicles such as the Spider and Speedster, and their supremacy in motorsports continues to this day. With the launch of the renowned Porsche 911 in 1964, the firm struck gold. This stylish rear-engine sports automobile quickly became popular with drivers all around the world. The rear-engine 911 was ahead of its time when it was launched in 1964, and it has continued to improve since then to become what many believe to be the ideal sports vehicle. Porsche wasted little time capitalizing on the 911's success, releasing models with innovations such as a detachable top panel, a semi-automatic transmission, and fuel injection. Porsche unveiled the 911 Turbo supercar in the mid-1970s, one of its most powerful vehicles to date. Starting with the four-cylinder 924, 1976, and the unrelated 928 powered by the company's first V8 engine, Porsche launched a succession of front-engine cars in the 1970s. 1978. The 924 was followed by the more powerful and sophisticated 944 and 944 Turbo, and then, in the early 1990s, the 968. Porsche's 1990s were a decade of transition, with the introduction of the new Boxster Roadster, the water-cooled 911 Carrera, and standard front airbags on all models. In 2003, Porsche released its first premium SUV after years of producing just sports cars. The Cayenne became one of the automaker's most popular vehicles, ultimately being joined by the smaller Macan SUV. The company's founder, Ferdinand Porsche, created the world's first hybrid automobile, the Lohner Porsche, in 1900. From then on, Porsche has led the way in this industry in recent decades with innovative models such as the 911 GT3 or hybrid race vehicle, the 918 Spider mid-engine plug-in hybrid, and the Cayenne e-hybrid. In fact, the company's first fully electric car, the Taycan, is expected to hit the market soon, and if the company's successes over the years is anything to go by, the Taycan is sure to make waves. Although the Porsche brand is synonymous with racing and Porsche cars have won an estimated 24,000 auto races around the world, including more than 50 class wins at Le Mans, the company is still famed for its luxury, elegance, and style. Back in the 1870s, if Anton Porsche had been told that his son Ferdinand, whom he wanted to take over the family's plumbing business, would go on to start one of the world's greatest automobiles, he would have laughed the person to scorn. Decades later, the Porsche family name is recognized everywhere in the world because of a son that decided to do something different.